If you enjoyed this audiobook, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Sharing it with your friends and family helps spread knowledge. And when we help others grow, we grow too. Thank you so much for listening. Let's dive into the book. Chapter 1. The Heart of Connection. Part 1. Why we need each other. Humans are social beings by nature. From ancient times to the digital age, our survival and happiness have always depended on others. This section reveals how genuine relationships fuel both personal growth and career success. You'll discover why networking isn't just about exchanging business cards. It's about building trust, offering support, and creating communities where everyone thrives. Through real-life examples, you'll see how shifting from self-interest to shared purpose unlocks doors you never knew existed. Consider Lena, a graphic designer who once treated networking like a chore. She attended events with one goal: collecting contacts for future job hunts. Conversations felt forced and follow-ups fizzled quickly. Her isolation grew until she joined a volunteer design project for local schools. There, she focused on understanding teachers' challenges, not self-promotion. When she later lost her job unexpectedly, 3 people from that project recommended her for freelance work within days. What changed? Lena moved from transactions to trust. Research shows that social bonds activate the same brain regions as safety and reward. Babies thrive on touch and eye contact. Adults thrive on mutual respect. Loneliness, by contrast, can shorten lifespans as much as smoking. In workplaces, teams with strong personal connections outperform disconnected groups by 20% on average. Lena's story highlights a key truth: relationships grow when we lead with empathy. Think about your last meaningful conversation. Did you listen to understand or to reply? When Raj, an engineer, started asking colleagues about their weekend hobbies instead of immediate work needs, he uncovered shared interests like hiking and coding workshops. These casual chats built rapport that later helped his team resolve project conflicts faster. Genuine interest creates lasting foundations. A Harvard study found professionals who prioritize helping others receive 2 to 3x more opportunities over time. For example, Rosa, a bakery owner, struggled until she offered free business advice to fellow entrepreneurs. When suppliers later raised prices, 3 of those contacts shared cheaper vendor contacts without being asked. Networking's power lies in human moments, not spreadsheets. Lena's volunteer work, Raj's coffee chats, and Rosa's mentorship all started with small, sincere gestures. What simple action could you take today to strengthen a connection? This human-centered approach naturally leads to growth. One tech founder credits her success to monthly curiosity calls with strangers. No agendas, just learning. Within a year, those conversations sparked 2 partnerships and a key investor introduction. Like planting seeds without demanding fruit, consistent goodwill creates forests of opportunity. Ready to explore how everyday interactions build these bridges? A single hello can start the journey. Part 2. The power of a simple hello. Consider how a brief greeting might change your day. That moment when you acknowledge someone, even with one word, can spark unexpected opportunities. Research shows it takes less than 7 seconds for people to form first impressions. But don't worry if you feel nervous. Many do. The key lies in starting small and focusing on others. Picture Alex, a software engineer who felt uneasy at networking events. He began practicing brief greetings with baristas during morning coffee runs. Just saying good morning while making eye contact helped him build confidence. Within weeks, he comfortably approached strangers at conferences. His simple "Hello, I'm Alex" led to a conversation that secured his current job. What small daily interaction could you use for practice? Our brains release oxytocin during positive social exchanges, making both parties feel safer. This is why authentic greetings work better than forced charm. When May moved to a new city, she made a habit of greeting her neighbors. One "Hi, I'm May" to elderly Mr. Thompson evolved into weekly chats. When her car broke down months later, he was the first to offer help. How might showing up consistently build trust? Try this approach. 1. Smile naturally before speaking. 2. Use the person's name if you know it. 3. Follow with an open-ended question like, "What brought you here today?" 4. Listen more than you talk. Introverts often excel here because they prioritize depth over quantity. Take Jonah, an accountant who dreaded office mingling. He started greeting just one new colleague daily. His quiet, "Hello, I noticed your report" to department head Lena sparked a mentorship. Within a year, he led a major project. Notice how Jonah's specific observation, "your report," felt more genuine than generic praise. What unique detail could you mention? Social anxiety often stems from overestimating judgment. Studies reveal most people are too self-focused to scrutinize you. If nervous, redirect attention outward. Compliment the environment, great venue choice, or ask about shared experiences. How did you find the keynote? Remember Priya's story. Her trembling hello to a bookstore stranger became a 20-year friendship because she admitted, "I'm terrible at these events too," turning vulnerability into connection. These micro moments create ripple effects. A factory supervisor's daily greetings reduced team turnover by 40%. A doctor's habit of saying good morning to every patient improved treatment adherence. Your hello signals belonging, a basic human need. Tomorrow, who might need that acknowledgement from you? The magic happens when we shift from "what can I gain" to "how can I make this person feel seen?" That mindset naturally leads to our next exploration, building relationships through generosity without keeping score. Part 3. Giving before you get. After a simple hello, what comes next? The deepest connections grow when we focus on giving, not getting. This principle transforms networking from a transaction into something far more powerful. You'll learn how small acts of generosity build trust and open unexpected doors. We'll share real stories of people who offered help freely and saw remarkable returns, not because they demanded it, but because they created goodwill. Discover practical ways to give, even if you feel you have little to offer. This mindset shift can change how you build relationships, creating ripples that benefit everyone involved. Consider how Raj, a graphic designer, approached networking. He noticed Lena, a new startup founder, struggling with her branding. Instead of pitching his services, Raj spent 10 minutes sharing free tips on color psychology. Lena appreciated his genuine help. Months later, she recommended him for a high-profile project. Raj's generosity cost him almost nothing, but built lasting trust. Many worry they lack time or resources to give. But meaningful giving isn't about grand gestures. It could be forwarding an article to a colleague, introducing two people who share interests, or offering encouragement during a tough week. Small actions create big impacts. Priya, a teacher, felt networking was selfish until she started connecting parents in her community. One introduction helped a family find housing, and later, that parent recommended Priya for a speaking opportunity she'd wanted for years. What's one small way you could help someone in your circle today? Giving works because it focuses on others' needs, not your own agenda. Tom, an accountant, volunteered at a local business fair. He chatted with Chloe, who ran a bakery, and mentioned common tax deductions she'd overlooked. He didn't charge her or ask for referrals. A year later, Chloe switched to Tom's firm and sent him 5 new clients. This cycle of goodwill often brings returns when least expected. Have you ever received unexpected help? How did it change your view of that person? Some fear being taken advantage of. Set gentle boundaries. Offer what feels sustainable, like sharing expertise during coffee breaks rather than free consulting. Notice what others genuinely need. If a contact mentions job hunting, could you introduce them to someone in your network? If they're new to town, share your favorite lunch spot. These acts build bridges. The key is consistency, not calculation. Maya, a nurse, made a habit of texting useful articles to her team. Over time, colleagues began sharing opportunities with her, leading to a promotion she didn't ask for. By giving without keeping score, you create a foundation for authentic relationships. What might happen if you focused on giving first in your next conversation? This approach naturally deepens connections, preparing us to turn everyday chats into meaningful exchanges. Part 4. Turning small talk into real talk. Most of us have endured dull chats about weather or traffic, but what if these everyday exchanges could become the start of something real? This section shows how ordinary small talk opens doors to genuine human connection. You'll learn practical ways to transform surface-level chatter into conversations that build trust and reveal shared values. By mastering simple listening techniques and thoughtful questioning, you'll discover how to make interactions memorable. These skills help in every setting, from conferences to coffee shops, turning brief encounters into relationships that matter. Let's explore how to move beyond politeness into meaningful dialogue. Small talk serves as social glue. It helps us gauge safety before sharing more. Think of it as dipping your toes in water before swimming. The problem arises when we linger in shallow waters. Consider Leo, a graphic designer attending a networking event. He used to ask, "What do you do?" and nod blankly at responses. Conversations fizzled quickly. Then he tried a new approach. When someone mentioned their job, he asked, "What led you to that field?" This simple shift uncovered passions and stories. Active listening makes this possible. It means fully focusing on the speaker without planning your reply. Notice their tone, expressions, and pauses. Nodding and brief verbal cues like "I see" encourage sharing. Priya, a teacher, practiced this at parent-teacher meetings. Instead of rushing through updates, she paused after parents spoke. She'd say, "It sounds like Maya's science project really sparked her curiosity. What other subjects excite her?" This uncovered shared values about education. What signals do you send when others speak? Thoughtful questions act as bridges. Start with common ground, a shared experience or environment. "How did you find today's workshop?" can evolve into, "What idea resonated most with you?" Fatima, a software developer, used this at tech meetups. She'd ask, "What challenges are you tackling with this framework?" When colleagues described problems, she shared a similar struggle. This mutual vulnerability transformed professional contacts into allies. Storytelling anchors conversations. Brief, personal anecdotes make exchanges memorable. After Ben, an accountant, heard a client mention hiking, he shared, "I got lost on a trail last month. Thankfully, my dog found the path." This led to laughs and deeper talks about nature. Stories don't need drama. Authenticity matters most. What recent experience could you share to illustrate a point? Timing matters. Read cues before diving deeper. If someone gives short answers, they may prefer keeping things light. Respect that, but when they elaborate, gently probe. Say, "You mentioned volunteering. What drew you to that cause?" Kaito, a nurse, used this with patience. Comments like, "This weather is rough," became, "Has the cold affected your daily routine?" Such questions revealed needs he could address. From shallow to substantial, the change is clear. Leo now forms collaborations from conference chats. Priya builds parent partnerships. Fatima solves coding problems with peers. All started with listening and one thoughtful question. These moments create ripples. Exchanging contacts becomes sharing dreams. Trust grows through reciprocal sharing. Offer something personal first to encourage openness. When discussing weekend plans, you might say, "I'm trying kayaking. I'm nervous but excited." This invites others to share their adventures. Avoid interrogating. Make it an exchange. How might sharing a small fear or hope change your next conversation? Embrace pauses. Silence feels uncomfortable but allows reflection. After someone speaks, wait 3 seconds before responding. Often they'll add meaningful details. In our rush to fill air, we miss gold. These techniques work anywhere. A grocery line chat about recipes can uncover shared cultural traditions. A waiting room comment about magazines might lead to book recommendations. Every interaction holds potential. Start small, listen deeply, and watch connections flourish. Chapter 2. Building your circle, one story at a time. Part 1. Finding your people. Building a network that matters starts with spotting the right people. This section shows you how to identify those rare individuals who share your values and aspirations. You'll learn practical ways to recognize potential allies at work events, community gatherings, or even casual meetups. Through real stories, we'll see why 5 genuine relationships beat 50 superficial ones every time. Discover how focusing on shared purpose rather than popularity creates bonds that help everyone grow stronger together. Take Jayla, who attended industry conferences for years collecting business cards. She felt drained until she changed her approach. Instead of trying to meet everyone, she started listening for shared values in conversations. At a tech meetup, she heard Omar mention ethical AI development 3 times. She asked about his vision, and their discussion about responsible innovation lasted hours. That single connection led to a job referral and ongoing collaboration. How do you spot your people? Watch for mirror interests. When Ben volunteered at a food bank, he noticed Lena organizing supplies with military precision. Her efficiency matched his project management values. He complimented her system, and they discovered shared goals about scaling community projects. Within months, they co-founded a nonprofit helping other charities streamline operations. Pay attention to how people react during challenges. When Marco's presentation crashed at a conference, only one attendee, Priya, stayed afterward to troubleshoot. Her solution-focused mindset revealed her collaborative nature. Marco later asked her to join his mastermind group. Small moments often show big character. Professional settings aren't the only places connections form. Kieran met his mentor at a dog park. He noticed Mr. Evans training his terrier with remarkable patience. Their weekly chats about animal behavior revealed Mr. Evans' decades of leadership experience. That casual connection grew into career guidance Kieran couldn't find elsewhere. What signals have you overlooked in everyday interactions? The barista who remembers your order might have the organizational skills your startup needs. The quiet parent at school functions could be your next business partner. Shared values hide in plain sight once you know how to look. Quality transforms networks. Before shifting focus, Diego had hundreds of LinkedIn connections, but no one to review his business plan. He started attending smaller writing workshops where people discussed social impact. There, he connected with Fatima, whose publishing goals aligned with his literacy mission. Their mutual support led to a successful grant application. Remember that relationships deepen through mutual benefit. When Zara needed marketing advice, she didn't cold call experts. She joined a climate action group where she could contribute her design skills. By solving problems alongside activist Kai, she naturally gained the mentorship she sought. What can you offer potential allies today? Finding your people means watching for those whose eyes light up when discussing what matters to you. It requires patience but pays lifelong dividends. When you spot someone solving problems you care about or whose principles echo yours, take the first step. A simple, "I admire your approach to X" often starts transformative connections. Part 2. The art of the follow-up. HTML. You've taken the brave first step to connect with someone who shares your values. But what happens next determines whether that spark becomes a lasting flame. This section explores why most connections fade at the follow-up stage and how to avoid that fate. You'll learn simple, authentic ways to strengthen new relationships without feeling pushy. We'll examine practical methods for different situations, from quick messages to thoughtful calls, with real examples showing what works. The key lies in consistent, personalized touches that show genuine interest. Master this and you'll transform brief encounters into meaningful relationships. Consider Priya, who met software developer Ben at a conference. They discussed AI ethics, a shared passion. Priya left excited but waited 3 weeks before sending. "Hi Ben, remember me? Need a programmer for my project." Ben felt like a resource, not a person. Contrast this with Omar, who met teacher Elena at a community garden. 2 days later, he referenced their conversation. "Elena, your tomato trellis idea stuck with me. Tried it with old bicycle wheels, photos attached. How did your compost experiment go?" This specific value-added follow-up kept their connection growing naturally. Why do many struggle with follow-ups? Common fears include seeming needy or wasting someone's time. Remember Kai and Zara from earlier? Their ongoing collaboration started when Zara followed up by sharing a design resource relevant to Kai's project. No requests, just usefulness. What small gesture could demonstrate you paid attention during your last meaningful conversation? Timing matters. For event encounters, reach out within 48 hours while memories remain fresh. For deeper discussions, a week allows reflection. Lena, an architect, keeps notes on conversations. Clara loves Japanese joinery, daughter studying in Montreal. Months later, she sends a woodworking workshop link with "Thought of your joinery passion." This takes seconds, but shows remarkable attentiveness. Adapt your method to the relationship. After meeting Yusuf briefly at a bookstore, poet Maya sent a LinkedIn message referencing his favorite Rumi verse. For mentor Dr. Evans after a panel discussion, researcher Felipe chose a handwritten note. "Your point about soil microbes changed my approach. Attached my revised proposal." When in doubt, match their preferred communication style. Which recent connection deserves this tailored attention? Effective follow-ups share 3 traits. They reference specific conversation points, add value, article, share, offer, and seek nothing immediately. Bad. Let's meet soon. Better, your bakery's sourdough process fascinates me. Here's that fermentation study we discussed. Coffee next month? Notice how Baker Rosa instantly recognized genuine interest versus a vague request. Consistency beats intensity. Nurse Jorge schedules quarterly check-ins with former colleagues. Not grand gestures, a 2-sentence email, saw this hospital innovation award and remembered your ventilator project. How's the new peds wing? Over 3 years, this built trust leading to a job referral. What's one relationship you could nurture with a consistent, low-effort touch? Technology helps but shouldn't depersonalize. Farmer Naya uses calendar alerts for follow-up dates but never templates. Her messages always include personal details. How did Leo's robotics competition go? Tools like CRM systems track conversations, but the magic lies in human recall. When you receive a clearly copied message, does it inspire connection? Ultimately, follow-ups are bridges between encounters. They transform nice to meet you into I truly see you, like gardener Thomas who sends seed packets to new connections with a note for your next harvest. This simple act, rooted in attention, makes relationships blossom. What harvest could your thoughtful follow-up help grow? Part 3. From stranger to friend. Turning a new connection into a true friend doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey that moves from polite exchanges to shared laughs, personal stories, and mutual support. Think about the people in your life you now call friends. How did that shift happen? This section explores the natural steps that help acquaintances become friends. You'll learn how trust forms through small moments, why being real speeds up the process, and ways to invite deeper talks without pressure. We'll also tackle the fear of opening up and how to stay true to your own limits while building closeness. Consider how Leo and Nia moved from conference contacts to friends. After their initial meeting, Leo remembered Nia's passion for urban gardening. He sent her a podcast episode on rooftop farms, adding a personal note. "This made me think of your project in Detroit." Nia responded with excitement, sharing challenges she faced. Leo's genuine interest moved them beyond networking into shared enthusiasm. Small gestures like this build rapport. What could you share that shows you truly listened? Trust grows when people reveal imperfect sides of themselves. Take Omar, a graphic designer who felt stuck in his career. At a co-working space, he admitted this to Zoe, a writer he'd known for months. Instead of offering solutions, Zoe shared her own recent creative block. This mutual honesty transformed their coffee chats into real support. As Carnegie observed, people connect when we show human struggles, not just successes. When did last admitting a challenge strengthen a relationship? Creating friendship moments often means shifting settings. After several emails, software developer Priya invited her contact Hassan to join her hiking group. Walking side by side felt easier than face-to-face meetings. Shared physical activity like cooking workshops or volunteer projects builds bonds faster than formal meetings. Farazi calls this the shared doing principle. What low-pressure activity could you suggest to an acquaintance? Fear of rejection stops many from taking these steps. Introverted accountant Felix practiced with casual invitations. "A few of us try new bakeries on Fridays. Join if you're free." Framing invitations as low-stakes opportunities removed pressure. Zach notes that most people appreciate being included, even if they decline. How might framing invitations differently ease your worries? Boundaries remain essential throughout. When teacher May felt overwhelmed by her new friend Lena's constant calls, she said, "I value our talks. Let's schedule our next chat so I can give you my full attention." This preserved the relationship while honoring her energy. Burkus emphasizes that strong friendships respect both people's needs. What gentle boundary might protect your energy today? Notice how librarian Theo strengthened his bond with regular patron Aisha. He noticed her interest in historical fiction and started setting aside relevant new arrivals. When Aisha brought homemade baklava to thank him, their book exchanges became a friendship ritual. These consistent, caring actions, rooted in attention, transform strangers into allies. What small act of attention could you offer this week? Part 4. Keeping your network alive. Imagine planting a garden but never watering it. Your connections work the same way. Without regular care, even strong relationships fade. This section shares simple ways to keep your network thriving. You'll learn practical methods for staying in touch, celebrating others' successes, and offering support when needed. These habits transform contacts into lasting allies who'll stand by you through career changes, challenges, and triumphs. Let's explore how small, consistent actions build networks that last for decades. Consider Lena, a marketing manager. She sets calendar reminders for quarterly check-ins with key contacts. Every 3 months, she sends personalized messages like, "Saw your company launched eco-packaging. How's the response?" This takes minutes but keeps relationships warm. Research shows brief, meaningful touchpoints matter more than occasional long calls. What 3 people deserve your attention this month? Celebrating milestones strengthens bonds deeply. When Raj's former colleague Omar published a book, Raj didn't just like the social media post. He bought a copy, highlighted his favorite chapter, and mailed it with a congratulatory note. Omar later introduced Raj to his literary agent. Genuine recognition creates reciprocity. Remembering birthdays or work anniversaries shows you value the person beyond utility. Tools simplify maintenance. Nurse Fatima uses a free app to track contacts. She notes personal details. Ben, daughter in robotics club, or Layla, allergic to shellfish. Before meetings, she reviews these notes. Her colleagues feel truly seen when she asks, "How did Sophia's competition go?" Try recording 2 personal details for your top 10 contacts today. Real support matters most during tough times. When Eli's bakery flooded, his network mobilized. A regular customer organized a crowdfunding campaign. A flour supplier advanced credit. This happened because Eli consistently supported others, donating leftovers to shelters and mentoring young bakers. Networks sustain us when we stumble, but only if we've sown goodwill beforehand. Create relationship rituals. Teachers Ana and Diego meet for coffee every semester's end. They discuss classroom wins and struggles. This predictable rhythm builds trust deeper than sporadic meetings. Could you establish quarterly lunches or monthly calls with key people? Finally, balance is key. You needn't maintain 500 contacts. Focus on 20 to 30 meaningful relationships. Audit your network annually. Ask, who energizes me? Who have I mutually supported? Let peripheral contacts fade naturally. Your network is a living ecosystem. Nurture the connections that matter most. Who's been quietly supporting you that deserves recognition today? Chapter 3. The Secret Sauce of Superconnectors. Part 1. Listening like you mean it. Think about the last time you truly felt heard. Not just acknowledged, but understood. That's the power of real listening, a skill that transforms ordinary interactions into meaningful connections. This part explores how mastering active listening makes you stand out in any network. You'll learn practical ways to focus fully during conversations, respond with genuine interest, and build trust effortlessly. We'll see how simple shifts in attention help uncover hidden opportunities and create lasting bonds. By the end, you'll have tools to make every conversation count, turning casual chats into foundations for strong professional relationships. Many people confuse hearing with listening. Hearing is passive. It's just catching words. Listening is active. It means giving your full attention to understand the meaning behind those words. Picture Leo at a busy conference. He nods while scanning the room, waiting to share his own story. He hears, but he doesn't listen. Contrast this with Priya. When someone speaks, she puts her phone away, maintains eye contact, and asks questions like, "What happened next?" or "How did that make you feel?" Her focus makes speakers feel valued. What signals do you send when someone talks to you? Active listening has clear components. First, be present. Eliminate distractions. Close your laptop, mute notifications. Second, show engagement. Use nods or brief verbal cues like "I see" to signal you're following. Third, respond thoughtfully. Paraphrase what you heard to confirm understanding. For example, if Omar says, "My team missed the deadline due to supply issues," you might say, "So external delays affected your timeline?" This shows you processed his words, not just heard them. Empathy elevates listening. It means imagining yourself in the speaker's position. When Elena shared her startup struggles, Raj didn't jump in with advice. Instead, he said, "That sounds incredibly stressful. What's been the toughest part?" His empathy created safety. She later introduced him to a key investor, all because he made her feel supported. How often do you seek to understand before being understood? The results speak for themselves. Consider Ben, who attended networking events for years with few meaningful contacts. He changed his approach. He started listening more and talking less. At his next meeting, he asked a potential client, Fatima, about her business challenges. He listened, asked clarifying questions, and offered a relevant resource. This deepened their connection. Months later, she became his biggest customer. Before, Ben collected business cards. Now he builds advocates. Practical steps can transform your listening. Start conversations with open-ended questions like, what excites you about your current work? Avoid interrupting. Pause 3 seconds after someone finishes before responding. If your mind wanders, mentally repeat their words to refocus. Practice with a friend. Take turns speaking for 2 minutes while the other listens without interjecting. Notice how it changes the dynamic. These small habits make people feel respected, and respected people remember you when opportunities arise. Mastering this skill creates a ripple effect. When you listen well, others feel seen. They trust you more, share more openly, and think of you when they encounter ways to help. This foundation of trust is what makes helping others shine our next focus, both natural and impactful. Part 2. Helping others shine. Helping others shine. Imagine walking into a room where everyone feels brighter because of you. That's the power of lifting others up. This section reveals simple ways to spotlight people's talents and achievements, whether by giving credit, making thoughtful introductions, or celebrating their wins. You'll see how these acts strengthen your network, build lasting goodwill, and often circle back to help you in unexpected ways. Let's explore how shifting focus from me to we creates opportunities for everyone. After mastering active listening, you've built trust. Now use it to amplify others. Consider Leo, a project manager. When his team member Priya solved a coding hurdle, Leo didn't just thank her privately. He emailed their CEO. Priya's fix saved us 2 weeks. Her approach was brilliant. Priya felt valued, and Leo gained a reputation as someone who recognizes talent. Ask yourself, when did someone last highlight your work? How did it change your motivation? Giving credit costs nothing but fuels loyalty. Take Maya, a bakery owner. She noticed her employee Carlos crafting stunning cake designs. Instead of keeping quiet, she tagged him in social media posts. Carlos turned flour into art today. Customers flocked to praise him, and Carlos became more invested in his role. Maya's sales grew because customers loved her team's passion. This isn't just kindness, it's smart networking. People remember who made them feel seen. Introductions are golden bridges. Picture Ben, a graphic designer. He knew Zoe needed a photographer and Ravi needed clients. Ben texted both. Zoe, meet Ravi. His landscapes match your brand's vibe. Ravi, Zoe's eco-fashion line could showcase your work. He didn't push, he connected dots. Months later, Ravi referred Ben for a high-profile job. Who could you introduce this week to solve 2 problems at once? Generosity sparks chain reactions. Nina, a teacher, volunteered to tutor struggling students. She didn't expect payback. But when she launched an online course, former students shared it widely. One parent, a tech executive, even funded her website. This ripple effect happens because helping others builds emotional currency. People naturally support those who've supported them. Avoid overcomplicating it. Start small. Credit publicly. Next meeting, say, "This was Lena's idea. Let her explain." Introduce purposefully. Email, Amina, meet Ken. He's expert in the supply chains you're exploring. Celebrate specifically. Instead of great job, try your calm handling of that client complaint saved the deal. By making others shine, you light your own path. When Priya got promoted, she hired Leo for consulting. When Carlos opened his own shop, he sent customers to Maya. These bonds outlast transactions. Now, imagine linking people who've never met, our next step in becoming true connectors. Part 3. Connecting the unconnected. Think of the most valuable connections in your life. Chances are someone helped make them happen. This section explores how you can become that person, someone who spots hidden opportunities to bring people together. You'll learn practical ways to identify mutual benefits between your contacts, make warm introductions that stick, and create win-win situations without awkwardness. We'll share real examples of how these connections spark opportunities, solve problems, and build lasting relationships. By the end, you'll know how to become a trusted bridge in your network, helping others achieve goals while strengthening your own relationships naturally. Picture Anya, who runs a small organic farm. She struggled to find affordable packaging until her friend Raj noticed something. His coworker Ben had just joined a sustainable packaging startup. Raj didn't push them together immediately. First, he asked Anya if she'd welcome an introduction to someone exploring eco-friendly solutions. Then he checked with Ben. I know someone testing packaging for perishable goods. Interested? Both said yes. Raj then emailed, Anya, meet Ben. His company makes plant-based packaging you mentioned needing. Ben, Anya supplies restaurants with produce that requires specific storage solutions. Maybe share challenges you're both solving? Within weeks, they co-created compostable containers for berries. What problem could two people in your network solve together? This works because Raj followed 3 simple rules. 1. Spot shared needs, not just similarities. He didn't connect them because both like sustainability. He focused on Anya's packaging gap and Ben's search for real-world product testing. Look for complementary strengths. A software developer needing beta testers pairs perfectly with a tech-savvy teacher. 2. Always ask first. A quick, would an intro to X be helpful, respects boundaries. Skip this and you risk annoying both parties. 3. Frame the why clearly. His email highlighted mutual benefits in 1 sentence. Vague intros like you two should talk rarely work. Consider Elena, who connects carelessly. She introduced a busy doctor to a life coach without context. The doctor felt ambushed. The coach felt rejected. Contrast this with Omar, who noticed his baker friend Lily needed delivery drivers. He introduced her to Mateo, a rideshare driver seeking steady hours, by emailing, Lily needs reliable transport for wedding cake deliveries. Mateo, you mentioned wanting fixed routes. Could Tuesday mornings work? Lily gained a driver. Mateo got recurring income. Where have you seen a connection opportunity but hesitated? Becoming this connector starts with active listening. When Kira heard her neighbor complain about noisy plumbing, she remembered her colleague's husband was a soundproofing expert. After quick permissions, she connected them over text. Noah, this is Arjun. He reduces apartment noise. Arjun, Noah's dealing with pipe vibrations in old buildings. The fix took 1 afternoon. Notice Kira didn't need industry expertise. She paid attention to everyday frustrations. Key boundaries. Never introduce for personal gain. Introduce me to your CEO friend. If someone declines an intro, respect it immediately. Keep intros concise, no life stories. These links create ripple effects. Anya's farm now supplies Ben's startup with materials for packaging prototypes. Lily sends customers to Mateo's new delivery service. And Raj? When he launched his own business, both Anya and Ben became his first promoters. By focusing on others' needs, you build trust that circles back. How might your next introduction create unexpected value? Start small this week. Pick 2 people you know well. Ask yourself, what does each struggle with that the other could solve? If you see overlap, seek permission. With practice, you'll spot these opportunities everywhere, transforming isolated contacts into a thriving community. Part 4. Stories that stick. Think about the last time someone truly held your attention at an event. What made them unforgettable? Often, it's not their job title or credentials. It's a simple story they shared. This section reveals how stories transform ordinary chats into memorable bonds. You'll learn easy techniques to share experiences that show who you are, not just what you do. These aren't fairy tales. They're real moments that build trust and make others feel connected to you. By the end, you'll craft stories that linger long after the conversation ends, turning contacts into allies. Consider how Tanya, a graphic designer, used to introduce herself. She'd say, I create logos for tech companies. People nodded politely and forgot her by dessert. Then she tried something different. She shared how a client's toddler once scribbled on her sketchpad during a meeting. That random scribble became the award-winning logo for a parenting app. Suddenly, listeners leaned in. They chuckled, asked questions, and later introduced her to new clients. Why did this work? It showed her creativity and her humanity. Stories stick because our brains latch onto emotion, not facts. Research shows we recall stories 22 times better than statistics. When you describe struggling with a difficult project or laughing over a clumsy mistake, you invite others into your world. This builds rapport faster than any elevator pitch. For instance, Ken, an engineer, shared how he fixed a bakery's oven during a blackout using scrap metal. His problem-solving tale impressed a CEO more than his resume ever did. What personal moment could reveal your strengths? Keep stories concise and relatable. Aim for 60 seconds or less. Start with tension. I was completely lost when, or my biggest fear became real when. End with resolution, what you learned or how it shaped you. Priya, a teacher, tells how a student's harsh criticism of her lesson, "This is boring," led her to create interactive science games now used in 100 schools. Her story highlights adaptability without saying, "I'm adaptable." Avoid grand adventures. Mundane moments resonate most. Did you help a colleague through a tough day? Did a failure redirect your career? When Leo mentioned burning his first restaurant dish and how it taught him to innovate rather than panic, potential investors saw his resilience. His flop was more compelling than his successes. Practice makes natural. Rehearse aloud until it feels conversational, not scripted. Share stories where you're vulnerable, not heroic. When Nora discussed getting laid off early in her career, she bonded with strangers over shared setbacks. Her openness turned a coffee chat into 3 job referrals. How might your struggles help others relate to you? These techniques create ripple effects. A well-told story doesn't just engage one person, it gets retold, expanding your reach. After Diego shared how he missed his daughter's recital to meet a deadline, then restructured his team to prevent others doing the same, colleagues repeated it as a work-life balance example. His values spread without a single lecture. What story could you share tomorrow that shows your authentic self? Chapter 4. Gathering Moments, Creating Magic. Part 1. Making Meetings Matter. Imagine walking away from a 15-minute coffee chat feeling energized, with a clear next step and a genuine connection. That's the power of transforming brief meetings into meaningful moments. Many people collect business cards but build few real relationships. This section shows you how to make every interaction count, whether it's a quick video call or an elevator chat. You'll learn to prepare with purpose, engage authentically, and follow up effectively. These skills turn rushed encounters into opportunities that benefit everyone involved. Let's explore how small changes in approach can yield big results in your networking success. Preparation starts before you arrive. Research the person and their work for 5 minutes. Check their LinkedIn, recent projects, or a company blog. This shows respect and helps find common ground. For instance, Ben noticed Rita's nonprofit worked with food banks. He researched local hunger statistics before their meeting. When Rita mentioned distribution challenges, Ben shared those numbers. This turned a generic chat into a problem-solving session. What's one specific detail you could learn about your next contact? Set a clear intention for each meeting. Ask yourself, what do I hope to learn? And how could I help this person? Avoid vague goals like network. Instead, aim for understand Maya's switch from engineering to marketing, or share contacts in the solar industry. Tom met Lena knowing she needed graphic designers. He introduced her to 2 vetted freelancers during their coffee. Lena later referred clients to Tom's consulting firm. This mutual value creates lasting bonds. How might your next conversation shift if you focus on giving first? During the meeting, listen more than you talk. Nod, maintain eye contact, open questions like, what excited you about that project? Avoid glancing at your phone. When Kira met Dev, she noticed he mentioned supply chain delays twice. She asked, how has that impacted your team's morale? Dev opened up about burnout solutions. Their 20-minute call became a monthly idea exchange. One thoughtful question often reveals more than 10 minutes of pitching. Follow up within 24 hours. Reference a specific discussion point, not just nice meeting you. If you promised resources, include them. After Zoe and Raf's talk about podcasting, Zoe sent editing software recommendations with a note. Your interview technique reminded me of this tool. Raf invited her as a guest speaker. This consistency builds trust. When did timely follow-up last create an opportunity for you? These practices apply anywhere: virtual calls, conferences, or waiting rooms. Short, intentional meetings often achieve more than hour-long lunches. They build momentum in your network. Now consider how these skills translate to group settings. Hosting gatherings with the same care multiplies connection opportunities, which we'll explore next. Part 2. Hosting with Heart. Hosting a gathering transforms space into shared experience. When you open your home or organize an event, you create a rare chance for people to connect authentically. This section offers simple methods to design occasions that feel warm and purposeful. You'll learn to plan gatherings where conversations flow naturally, strangers become allies, and everyone leaves feeling valued. We'll share real stories of hosts who turned ordinary events into community-building moments. These approaches work for dinner parties, team meetings, or neighborhood potlucks. How might your next gathering strengthen relationships around you? Effective hosting begins with clear intention. Ask yourself, what feeling or outcome do I want guests to experience? Maya planned a rooftop dinner not just to socialize, but to help creative professionals find collaborators. She chose guests from different fields who shared curiosity about sustainability. This focus guided her invitations, seating, and activities. Without a purpose, events can feel scattered. With one, they become meaningful. What core purpose could shape your next gathering? Invitations set the tone. Personalize them to show genuine interest. Instead of mass emails, Raj sent handwritten notes for his board game night. I remember you enjoy strategy challenges. Come test this new one. This made people feel recognized. Limit guest lists to encourage real interaction. 12 engaged people often create better connections than 40 distracted ones. Consider how guests might complement each other. When Priya invited introverted writers and outgoing publishers to a tea tasting, balanced groups formed naturally. Who in your network might spark unexpected conversations together? Environment matters as much as guest list. Simple adjustments signal welcome. Dim harsh lights, add extra seats near doorways, and play soft background music to ease arrivals. Lena always places snacks near her apartment entrance so newcomers immediately join others. Arrange seating in circles or small clusters. Facing couches beat rows of chairs for dialogue. Remove physical barriers like high counters that separate people. Could rearranging one thing make your space more inviting? As host, your role shifts from planner to connector. Start with low-pressure activities that build comfort. Ken begins work retreats by asking pairs to share one thing you're proud of this month. This replaces awkward silence with immediate participation. Gently introduce guests with common interests. Aisha, this is Carlos. You both volunteered at animal shelters. Circulate to include quieter attendees, but avoid dominating conversations. If discussions stall, pose open questions like, what surprised you recently? How might you help others shine at your event? Thoughtful hosting creates ripple effects. Before, Omar's networking mixers felt transactional with brief exchanges. After, he hosted skill swap dinners where guests taught 5-minute lessons, knitting, app shortcuts, guitar chords. Laughter filled the room as people learned together, leading to 3 business partnerships. Similarly, a community center director transformed stiff meetings into story-sharing circles about local history. Attendance tripled because people felt heard. What small change could deepen connections at your gatherings? Practical steps for your next event. 1. Define one clear purpose, e.g., spark collaborations, celebrate milestones. 2. Curate guests intentionally. Aim for diversity within a shared interest. Prepare the space to feel warm and accessible. 4. Start with a simple group activity to build comfort. 5. Connect guests throughout by highlighting common ground. 6. Follow up afterward with shared photos or resources to extend bonds. These approaches make hosting rewarding rather than stressful. When you focus on others' experiences, you build trust that lasts beyond the event. Guests remember how gatherings made them feel, seen, included, inspired. This foundation transforms casual events into communities. We'll explore how to turn these moments into lasting memories. Part 3. Turning events into memories. People remember moments that touch them, not just the food or location. This section shares how to craft experiences that linger in attendees' minds long after an event ends. You'll discover simple methods to build shared memories through thoughtful interactions. We'll explore icebreakers that spark real conversations and activities that create collective joy. These approaches transform ordinary gatherings into meaningful milestones where connections deepen naturally. By focusing on emotional resonance over perfect planning, you help people feel seen and valued. The result? Attendees carry those positive feelings into future relationships, strengthening your network organically. Imagine hosting a small dinner. Instead of letting guests mingle randomly, you start with a low-pressure icebreaker. Ask everyone to share one thing they're secretly proud of this week, like Ben describing how he fixed his leaky faucet after months of procrastination. This reveals personal victories without pressure. Laughter erupts when Clara admits she finally organized her sock drawer. Such moments build immediate camaraderie because they highlight relatable humanity. What small win could you invite people to share at your next event? Shared activities anchor memories. Consider how Priya transformed her team retreat. She replaced generic presentations with a skill swap where attendees taught something unexpected in 5 minutes, like Omar showing origami while Lena demonstrated how to whistle with 2 fingers. This created inside jokes. Remember Omar's paper crane disaster? And mutual appreciation. The key is choosing inclusive, participation-light activities. Baking cookies together or planting a communal herb garden works better than complex games. These actions become touchstones. People recall the flower on Sam's nose or how the basil smelled, tying sensations to bonds. Meaning surfaces in transitions. When Carlos ended his networking meetup, he didn't just say goodbye. He asked each person to write a wish for the group on a paper lantern. Releasing them together under the stars turned closure into a poignant ritual. Similarly, passing a microphone for brief appreciations, "Thanks for the book tip, Maya," reinforces positive interactions. How might you design a closing moment that crystallizes the event's spirit? Authenticity trumps spectacle. Alara hosted simple storytelling suppers where guests shared brief tales about kindness they'd received. One accountant tearfully recalled a stranger paying for her groceries during a tough year. This vulnerability fostered deeper discussions than any expensive venue could. The warmth came from emotional honesty, not decor. Attendees left feeling trusted and connected, often exchanging numbers to continue conversations. Challenges like awkward silences or cliques dissolve with structure. At a conference afterparty, Ravi noticed wallflowers. He introduced a 3-question mixer. Find someone new and ask about their favorite childhood meal, a recent surprise joy, and one hobby they miss. Guided prompts prevented small talk, uncovering shared nostalgia for baking or hiking. Within minutes, strangers were debating the best grilled cheese recipes. What open-ended questions could you seed to spark genuine exchanges? These methods work because they engage multiple senses and emotions. Science confirms that multisensory experiences, like singing together or sharing a spicy dish, form stronger neural pathways. When Ben tasted Alara's homemade hot sauce months later, he remembered her laughter during the cooking demo. The goal isn't perfection, but creating reference points people revisit fondly. As we'll see next, celebrating these moments extends their impact further. Part 4. Celebrating every connection. Building on the foundation of memorable experiences, let's explore how celebrating connections transforms fleeting moments into lasting bonds. This section reveals practical methods to acknowledge relationships through gratitude, recognition, and shared milestones. You'll learn how simple gestures, like a timely note or a shared coffee, strengthen trust and inspire mutual support. Real stories will show how these habits create networks where people feel valued, leading to unexpected opportunities and deeper collaboration. By the end, you'll have actionable tools to weave appreciation into daily interactions, making your connections more resilient and rewarding. Consider Leo, a graphic designer who felt disconnected despite attending networking events. He started sending one genuine appreciation message weekly, not for business gains, but to acknowledge others' work. When he praised Maya, a copywriter he barely knew, for her newsletter's clarity, she remembered him months later during a project search. That small act built trust faster than any elevator pitch. Why? Recognition taps into a basic human need: feeling seen. Research shows even brief acknowledgments release oxytocin, strengthening social bonds. Gratitude works best when specific and timely. After a colleague, Carlos, helped you navigate a tight deadline instead of a generic thanks, try, "Your spreadsheet hack saved us 3 hours. It made the launch possible." This links appreciation to impact. A study of workplace dynamics found that teams practicing specific gratitude reap 30% higher collaboration rates. How might pinpointing exact contributions change your next thank you? Milestones offer natural celebration points. When Priya launched her bakery, her friend Ben didn't just send congratulations. He organized a surprise first cake tasting with her clients. This celebrated her achievement while reinforcing her network. Personal milestones matter too. Remembering a contact's work anniversary or child's graduation shows you value them beyond transactions. A tech founder shared how noting a client's marathon win led to a partnership. Shared passions create emotional glue. Challenges arise. Busy schedules make recognition feel optional. Set simple systems. Schedule 5-minute weekly slots to send voice notes or handwritten cards. Tools like calendar reminders for contacts' milestones help consistency. Aya, an introverted engineer, felt uncomfortable with grand gestures. She started small, sharing articles relevant to contacts' interests with a note like, "This made me think of your robotics project." Within months, her network became proactive in supporting her career shift. Transformation happens when appreciation becomes cultural. One nonprofit team started meetings by sharing micro-wins, tiny successes others enabled. This shifted their dynamics from transactional to supportive, doubling volunteer retention. What daily or weekly ritual could you introduce to normalize recognition? Every connection thrives on feeling cherished. Start today. Pick one person who impacted you recently. Name what they did and why it mattered. Send that message now. As these acts compound, they transform networks into communities where people don't just connect, they champion each other. Chapter 5, Growing Your Network, Growing Yourself. Part 1, Learning from Every Encounter. Consider each conversation as a small classroom. When Leo attended a tech conference, he approached a founder with clumsy small talk. The founder excused herself quickly. Instead of feeling discouraged, Leo later asked himself, "What could I have done differently?" He realized he'd skipped researching her work. Next event, he studied attendees beforehand. Meeting designer Elena, he referenced her recent project. Their chat lasted 20 minutes and sparked an ongoing collaboration. Setbacks often teach more than successes. After Priya's networking email got ignored, she reviewed it. Was my request too vague? She noticed she'd asked for advice without specifics. Now she crafts emails like, "I admired your supply chain redesign. Could we discuss how you handled vendor negotiations?" Response rates tripled. Growth happens through intentional reflection. Keep a simple journal after interactions. 1. What felt natural during this conversation? 2. Where did I feel stuck? 3. What surprised me about the other person's perspective? 4. If I could replay one moment, what would I change? A cafe owner, Ben, once offended a potential investor by dismissing their suggestion. His journal entry revealed his defensiveness about startup challenges. Later, he practiced saying, "That's an interesting angle. How would you approach this?" This shift turned debates into collaborations. Research shows professionals who reflect 15 minutes daily on interactions develop keener emotional intelligence within months. They notice patterns, like interrupting when nervous, and adjust. Awkward moments? They're data points. When Zoe froze during a virtual meetup, she later realized it happened after someone mentioned venture capital, a topic she avoided. She studied basic VC terms, transforming anxiety into discussion points. What topic makes me retreat? How can I prepare one question about it? This continuous learning loop turns random encounters into skill building. As you notice improvements, you'll start anticipating conversations not as performances but explorations. The slight discomfort when stretching beyond your comfort zone? That's growth announcing itself. Next, we'll address how to navigate those uneasy moments smoothly, because even the best networkers occasionally stumble. Part 2. Overcoming awkwardness. Networking often brings up that familiar flutter in your stomach. It's completely normal. Think about it. You're stepping into a room full of unknowns, trying to connect with people who might shape your future. That pressure creates tension. But what if you could transform that nervous energy into something useful? This section gives you real tools to handle those jitters and awkward pauses. You'll learn how to shift your mindset, find common ground quickly, and recover from stumbles. By the end, you'll approach events not with dread, but curiosity. Awkwardness usually strikes when we focus too much on ourselves. What do they think of me? Am I talking too much? Flip that script. Pay attention to the other person instead. Notice their body language or what they're holding. A unique coffee cup, a conference badge. Say, "That's an interesting design. Is there a story behind it?" Simple observations break the ice. Ken, a software engineer, used to panic at tech meetups. He started asking one question about others' projects before mentioning his work. The conversation flowed naturally, and his anxiety faded because he wasn't performing, he was exploring. Preparation builds confidence. Before an event, set small goals. I'll introduce myself to 2 people, or I'll ask 1 follow-up question per conversation. If your mind blanks, keep a mental list of openers. What brought you here, or what's been your biggest surprise in this industry? Lena, a freelance designer, rehearsed these before client mixers. When she froze mid-chat, she smiled and said, "I lost my train of thought. Your project about sustainable packaging just intrigued me." Honesty disarmed the tension, and they laughed together. Silence feels heavy, but it's just a pause. Breathe. Offer a genuine compliment. "I really enjoyed your point about remote teamwork. If you're exiting a conversation, try. I'll let you connect with others. It was great learning about your work." No need to over-explain. After a networking lunch, Raj noticed his group's discussion stalled. Instead of forcing talk, he said, "I'm grabbing more water. Can I bring anyone something?" The shift eased everyone. When did you last reframe a nervous moment as curiosity? Setbacks are part of growth. Mia hated industry conferences until she volunteered at a registration desk. Helping others check in gave her purpose and easy interactions. "Where are you from?" became a natural opener. By day's end, attendees recognized her, making deeper chats effortless. Her role removed pressure to perform. Start small if big rooms overwhelm. Attend shorter events or join online forums first. Awkwardness loses power when you see it as feedback, not failure. Did a joke fall flat? Note topics to avoid. Did someone's eyes light up when you mentioned AI? Explore that next time. Omar's handshake once missed its mark, bumping elbows instead. He grinned. "Well, that didn't go as planned. Let's try again." His recovery became a memorable moment. What's one awkward moment you can laugh about now? These steps build resilience. Confidence comes from action, not avoidance. Each conversation is practice. Soon, you'll spot someone new standing alone, and you'll know exactly how to make them feel welcome. That's when you realize the nerves haven't vanished. You've just outgrown them. Part 3. Staying true to you. Think about the last time you met someone who felt completely real. No pretense, no script, just genuine presence. That's the power of authenticity in networking. When you show up as yourself, you build trust faster, create deeper bonds, and attract people who resonate with your true values. This isn't about performance, it's about alignment. In this section, you'll learn how to network without wearing a mask, setting boundaries that protect your energy, honoring your personality, and turning connections into lasting relationships. The result? A network that fuels rather than drains you. Consider Maya, a graphic designer who attended networking events armed with rehearsed pitches. She'd nod through conversations about topics she disliked, then leave exhausted. After months of this, her contacts felt shallow. Then she shifted. At her next event, when asked about hobbies, she mentioned her passion for urban gardening instead of generic answers. A CEO's eyes lit up. He'd just invested in a sustainable agriculture startup. Their shared interest sparked a collaboration. When have you hidden a passion to fit in, and what cost did it carry? Authenticity starts with self-awareness. List your core values, say creativity or honesty, and filter opportunities through them. If a networking group prioritizes cutthroat competition but you thrive on collaboration, decline politely. Boundaries aren't walls, they're guides. Take Ken, a financial advisor. He limits events to 2 per month and never schedules meetings after 7 p.m. This protects his family time, making him more present in conversations. His clients notice, often saying, "You actually listen." That's the ripple effect of integrity. Burnout creeps in when you overextend. Priya, a startup founder, once said yes to every coffee chat. Soon she resented networking. Her solution? She now asks, "Will this align with my goals or values?" If not, she suggests a brief call instead. Her connections deepened because she engages fully when it matters. Where could setting one small boundary free your energy? Realness also means embracing imperfections. When Leo, a teacher, flubbed a speech at a conference, he joked, "Clearly I'm better with kids than crowds." His humility made others share their own struggles, turning a stumble into solidarity. People connect with humanity, not perfection. Practical step. Before any event, jot down 3 true things about yourself you'd share if asked. It could be, "I'm learning guitar," or "I hate small talk." This anchors you. Over time, you'll attract people who appreciate the real you. Like Elena, whose love of sci-fi novels led her to co-found a tech book club with a venture capitalist she admired. Their shared geekiness built a mentorship that outlasted transactions. Authenticity isn't static. As you grow, your network should reflect your evolving self. Revisit your values quarterly. Drop connections that drain you. Nurture those that spark joy. This intentionality keeps relationships meaningful and your energy intact for the journey ahead. Part 4. The journey never ends. Think of networking not as a destination, but as a constant companion on your life's path. Like a trusted friend, it walks beside you through career shifts, personal milestones, and unexpected turns. This ongoing practice transforms strangers into allies and chance meetings into catalysts for growth. You'll discover how simple habits keep your connections thriving even when life gets busy. We'll explore real stories of people who turned routine interactions into transformative opportunities by staying open and adaptable. The payoff? A richer professional life and unexpected doors opening when you least expect it, all by embracing connection as a natural part of living well. Just as Elena's authenticity attracted meaningful relationships, your network should mirror your evolving self. Careers change, interests shift, and priorities realign. Your approach to connecting must flex too. Consider Omar, who joined a parenting group when his first child was born. He casually mentioned his work in renewable energy during playground conversations. 2 years later, a fellow parent introduced him to a startup seeking his exact expertise. Omar wasn't actively job hunting. His openness during life's ordinary moments created extraordinary opportunity. How might your current life chapter reshape how you connect? Technology evolves, but core principles endure. Keith Ferrazzi's practice of generosity without strings proves timeless. When Priya read an article relevant to a former colleague's project, she emailed it with a brief thought-of-you note. No ask, no agenda. 18 months later, that colleague recommended Priya for a board position. Small, consistent gestures, like sharing resources or making introductions, build enduring trust. Set simple rhythms to nurture connections without overwhelm. Block 15 minutes monthly to 1. Scan contacts. Who haven't you touched base with? 2. Send 2 sincere check-ins. How's your new role at company treating you? Note 1 thing to follow up on. You mentioned loving pottery. Found this local studio. David Burkus's research reveals that dormant ties often yield fresh perspectives. When Leo reconnected with a university friend after a decade, their combined experiences sparked a community project neither could have launched alone. What old connection might bring unexpected value today? Life's pressures can shrink our social energy. Devora Zak suggests honoring your natural rhythms. Introverted Maya scheduled 1 meaningful coffee chat weekly instead of forcing herself to large events. This sustainable approach led to deeper conversations and 3 collaborations within 6 months. Remember Harvey Mackay's wisdom: dig your well before you're thirsty. When sudden industry changes left Sam unemployed, his years of helping others paid off. Within days, 4 contacts proposed freelance roles. His consistent support had woven a safety net he didn't know he needed. View each handshake not as a transaction, but as the first sentence in a story you'll write together. Your next conversation could spark a mentorship, partnership, or lifelong friendship, but only if you keep showing up. The journey rewards those who walk it with curiosity and generosity. What small connection will you nurture today?